Hey guys, welcome to TV the Drag. This is the fourth time I'm doing this, and I fuck it up. Welcome to Dragon Mountain Gaming. I am TV the Dragon, and today we are doing a podcast slash. Well, it's not podcast because it's news. Shut that off so I don't fuck up this. Okay. If you're a friend of Spyro the Dragon, not a friend, but are a big follower and been waiting for that new game to come out, you might be pretty freaking close to having it. Because through the past 72 hours, there's been a hell of a buzz regarding our purple friend. Now, I'm gonna talk about it, give my thoughts and opinions. This all started sometime last year, I don't remember when, but first four figures came out with some statues, like little game statues you can get, of the original Spyro from PlayStation, from, the 1998 to 2001 games. Or the old original PlayStations. And I'm playing, what I've decided to do, the backdrop is my favorite level of the entire series. Tall, Tall Plains in A New Beginning. If I'm right in what I'm thinking is going to happen, this is going to be in HD. Completely remastered, 1080p. If I'm right. Now, why I say they're doing this instead of PlayStation Spyro is the facts I've seen myself. When they did the figures, Box Lunch also have been doing merchandise. Now, the merchandise was t-shirts. I haven't really visited the website, there may be other stuff, but I at least know they're doing t-shirts. And they're for Spyro's 20th anniversary is what all this stuff is for. Which is coming this year, 2018. Now, when I'm making this, it is March 3rd. Which means in the past 72 hours, like I said, a lot of shit's happened. I'm going to start first with the Twitter account. Activision has registered on Twitter, probably Facebook, but I don't have Facebook, I got Twitter, the Legend of the Dragon. Anyone that tries to make a Spyro the Dragon, shit. Anyone that tries to make a, account using Spyro the Dragon is getting terminated. Or not terminated, but they're not letting them. And it's under the code name of Falcon McBob. I think it's changed since then, but that's what I last remember it as. It's Falcon McBob at Spyro the Dragon. And on that, we also found when digging through it that there is an email account called Spyro the Dragon, and it goes to Activision.com. It's Spyro the Dragon at Activision.com. So that's all good news for us, for that remaster. Now, everyone on Twitter is blowing up saying the originals are going to get remade. I'm not fully bought. The evidence I've seen is suggesting the Legends is going to get it. I could be completely wrong, and I'm going to probably eat my words. But the evidence I've seen is proving to this. Back in PSX in January, they had a banner that I saw on Twitter that had Spyro on it. It wasn't a picture of OG PlayStation. It was this model. It was this model of Spyro. And the model was him in flight. Not breathing fire, but like his little flying thing he does. Let me see if I can get him to face me. It was from this angle and it was like this. If I get the camera to stay in a fixed position, which I can't because it's on GameCube, which is actually on the Wii. But it looked like that. Him coasting through the air. Him gliding through the air. And Kratos from God of War was on one side, and I think at the bottom, kind of like in between them, was Joel and... oh crap, what was her name? It's The Last of Us. I can't remember what her name is. I know it was Joel and that girl he found. I haven't actually played that game because I don't have a PlayStation, but I've seen gameplay and I just can't remember the name. It's been a while. But anyway, they didn't use a picture of OG. And then last night, while we were having the discussion about what could possibly happen, they said that this resolution was higher than what an PlayStation Spyro would be. It's pretty easy to doctor a picture to be high definition. I've seen doctored and pretty decent looking pictures from the PlayStation era and the Legends. I've seen very decent, very decent pictures that were doctored up to be like 1080p and stuff. I don't see why PlayStation would have him on there and not their PlayStation when they could just, doctor a picture. Because that's one of their arguments, is that this was a higher, or the Legends was a higher res. While, yes, it was, but it would still be easy for them to just level up, or not level up, but, make a, just, doctor up a picture to use it for like that. And I've seen about 2 or 3 other articles I've read regarding a possible remaster have used pictures from Legend of Spyro. One was of him, if you've seen the cover art for the game of Dawn of the Dragon, where Spyro's standing on that mountain, he's, standing triumphantly looking heroic up there. Though the picture didn't have Cinder, it was just him. That's going to die. Oh, no, it doesn't. Alright, he's probably gonna let you. What the hell am I doing? I ain't even hitting the right freaking button. That one. Hold on one second. Oh, this ain't a redo. Oh crap, this ain't a redo. I thought this was a redo. I thought I already had beat this one. I'm playing empty. Oh well, it'll be alright. Anyway, I thought this was completely one dead one. This is so much easier to do on a handheld controller than it is when you freaking do it on the Wii. The Wii remote. It's great for a lot of things, but doing that tail swipe is a pain in the ass. Wrong button. Anyway, back on top. They've used pictures from the Legend series. And today, because last night was Twitter, and today, Xbox, here's the article right here. The official Xbox magazine, they have their account on Twitter. You can follow them at OXM. They posted this. This was their daily news radar. Kingdom Come, Deliverance Wrapped. The Return of the Legend of Spyro. The Stranger Things 3 Latest and More was the name of the article. Now, I just got a picture of it right here. I don't actually have the article to read. But from what I do remember reading itself, it didn't say... It talked about the hype that was building up and how the fan base hasn't really been missed anything that Activision hasn't posted out saying that we've kept great up with it. But what they said and what everyone was thinking that it's going to be classic PlayStation Spyro is that what they said was, when you have this much hype about a classic like Spyro, I believe is how it was coined, or what their phrasing inside of that was. It wasn't a game like classic Spyro. It was I just said the same damn thing. What the hell? Shit. They didn't say, remaking a classic, or remaking classic Spyro. Can I actually do this? I never knew I could do this. Get right up beside him. Never realized I could do that. Never knew that walkway was there. Huh. Game sold, and I'm still learning shit about it. But anyway, that's what they said. So they didn't use, or they didn't tip off which game it really was. They just said a good classic game like Spyro. They didn't say classic Spyro itself. Which I could be completely wrong about this. It could be PlayStation Spyro that gets remade. But if you want to go back and say, like, what... Oh, shit, walk right. like Crash did. Because remember last year, Crash got a remake. You know, Activision redid it. And that was one of the things that was found out, is that while he was getting his remake, Spyro had also been trademarked under the same thing. So at the same time Crash was happening, technically Spyro was also happening. Or something Spyro-like was happening. And my theory here is, if they were going to do classic Spyro, like for PlayStation, it would be a PlayStation only, like it originally was, just like they did with Crash Bandicoot. There we go. Okay, I would say they would do the same thing, just make it PS4 only. I don't see why Xbox would be running an article on it if they didn't have a hand in it. I'm going the wrong way, you know. Is there a way to go this way? Let me see. Gosh. Is there a way to go here? I don't know. I always get lost when I come to Tall Plains. I love this map, but I always get lost. Never fails. Alright, missed it. Got your head down, make it through. But but I don't see them not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, too much of this stuff is adding up to be like Legends and not PlayStation. Because I would say that's what they would do.
He is my friend.
Does that mean what I think it does?
Yeah, we've got to help him.
I can't remember how to skip cutscenes.
Oh, brother.
I'm just saying, to me it would look like this is what's happening because of how this is followed. Now, I could be completely wrong at this. Very easy. I mean, it's a very easy likelihood I could be wrong. But looking at the evidence I have... Get out, get out, get out, get out. Shit. There we go. Excuse me. Just saying, seeing what I'm seeing and how what's falling out and how it's falling out. Am I behind that monkey, David? It just seems like they would do it. Plus, if you think about it, if we go back in history of the Legends series just a little bit, let's just take a travel back in time.
Watch it, would ya?
I was just trying to help.
Well, the Outlawer and Kane need no help.
There it is. It's this part. Found out. It was this part. We're not really doing a playthrough here, so the cutscenes really don't matter. Oh, I hate this thing. It's loud. Alright, do I have anything to upgrade with? Yeah, I got a little bit. That's not gonna fill up bars of crap. Oh, well, it should be enough to at least get one. Wrong button. There it is. Down the Go away. Go away. Good. You went away. Exactly what you're supposed to do. Alright, now that this screechy, annoying little thing's gone. Anyway. What I'm saying is the evidence is pointing to like they'll redo this. Because if we go back in time to the Legend of Spyro thing, we know there was the first 3 games, the 3 games that were made. 2009 rolls around. There was supposed to be a movie that was being made in Korea. I think it was South Korea. It was being made by a South Korean animation team about the Legend of Spyro. And at the same time, there was a game being developed. It was going to be the 4th in it, and if you go on Wikipedia and Google it, or go to Wikipedia and search it, you can find that it was supposed to be the first in the series that had blood. It was supposed to be darker. It was supposed to kind of take it like in a whole new direction. That game never happened. The movie fell through. It all went to hell. Activision gave up. Gave up on the idea. Don't know why. I think that's when Sierra Studios dropped the project and it went to Toys for Bob. Well, Toys for Bob gave us Skylanders. Activision, since they have acquired, or when they required Sierra Studios, no. the whole Legend of Spyro series was made by Sierra Studios. And if I remember correctly, Activision was the parent of Sierra Studios and still is the parent of that studio, and they're still operating, I believe. So Activision has their complete hand in the Legend of Spyro. Excuse me. They have their hand in it. I'm saying we might see it. This might be our thing. Because I don't see why Xbox would be running an article if they didn't have a hand in the game. Because Crash, the only reason they ever did run a thing for Crash is that in the last Skylanders, no, it was Swap Force. What was it? What was it? What was the last one? What was the last one? It was the Superchargers. Anyway, it's not important. Either way, the Skylander series hasn't done that much, as we all know. I mean, it's not that the game... I personally think Activision tried to bring a little bit of the old magic of Skyland, of the PlayStation Spyro, and that's what the Skylander series was. In my opinion, it was their idea of a reboot. Of trying to reboot that. Because there's a lot of similarities with Skylanders and PlayStation Spyro. My throat's hurting, so I'm sitting there stuttering. Excuse me again. But while there is a lot of similarities, there are definitely differences. But his appearance, well, Activision just screwed that up. His appearance wasn't right. They could have done better with the animation. I'm not saying the graphic team did a horrible job. I'm just saying they could have done a whole better job around it altogether. But what's done is done with there, and that's about the end. About to say, I remember these guys didn't like this. Yeah, you guys didn't like it. You guys didn't like it. One thing I kind of like about this is that some enemies are actually weaker to certain attacks than others. I actually like that about this. Brought a whole element to it. Well, you actually use elements. But PlayStation, but Activision's whole idea for Skylanders was to rejuvenate Spyro, bring him to a different audience. Shit, still wrong there. Bring him to a new audience. A younger audience, or just a whole new audience in general. Younger doesn't have to be in it. Just do something new, and bring him to more platforms because the Legend series is multi-platform. It ran PlayStation 2, yeah, because of New Beginning, the GameCube, the Wii, the Xbox 360, and that's about it. If you go on to GameStop and try to find a copy of Dawn of the Dragon, it's $54. It's $54.96 or something like that. It's still very priced. Pretty solid after game. At that damn price. After that came out in 2008. That's a 10-year-old game, and it's still almost as a brand new game. It's $5 off from being as much as a brand new game because new games are coming out. Oh, that's beautiful. No, damn it. Fuck. I had the perfect cover. I had him behind that shield with the dynamite. Oh my god, that would have been awesome. But no, I just kept going and didn't go the direction I wanted. Back up off. But anyway. It's a pretty expensive, or not expensive, but it's still packing a lot of punch to this day. That means it has to at least be selling good. that or means no one's ever returned copies of them because they've cut the game. Excuse me, I'm not exactly sure how they run how the price thing goes with old games. I don't remember. I never asked. But anyway, that's at least what I know. And I think a newbie game was like 20, and I think Eternal Night's like 39. So I mean, they're kind of easily ranged. About this. Oh crap! Get on the damn log. Is this the way I want to go? No, it's not the way I want to go. Actually, first thing I want to do is just out of curiosity here. Can I, from this rock, make it? Oh yeah. Fuck that. I don't. Hopefully you can hear me. I say I hear you, but I don't see you. There it is. Okay, so we're good. Boom. Get that. Boom. Boom. Ah, shit. On the dime, I didn't go boom. That was a bad shot. Ah, shit. Fuck. That's right, stop your block. I'm out. I got no juice. What was about? Oh, there it is. I was about to say, where's that little button? I'll say that should be you guys dead. There we go. How are you still alive? Oh, there's enough stuff here to reduce. And there you go. Toast. But I mean, there's a lot of here that suggests that yes, there is something going on in Spyro. It may not be what everybody wants, because a lot of them want original Spyro games. I, as you know, would want to see this remake. And for more reasons behind this is, now this is where, those were the facts I know for 100% of what's been presented to us that you can go find yourself. This is now the portion of the video where this becomes my opinion. I think this series would do better in today's market than original would. Now granted, all the older people that grew up playing that, yes, they'll buy it. But if you look at how games have evolved, that was what they were like back then. Like if you're like Mario and Zelda, not really heavy based story. Not a real heavy story, but just like, platformer gameplay, which was the big thing back in the 90s. Mario has been out for how long? I mean, little stories, but, no cutscenes, no, in-depth, if you really think about it. No really hugely in-depth gameplay, like this was. Now, why, yes, Spyro had a story, but it wasn't... That's how you... Oh, I'm gonna fall off. Oh, yep, I fell off. I was gonna try to see if I can run past.
All right.
I wonder what happens if all of them trail down. Oh shit, I walked off the edge with helmet. Actually, I think one of them just died. I think one of them followed me down. I think they did. Forgot there was a cutscene with this. But I just don't think original would do that well. I don't see it doing that. I mean, would it do good? Yeah, it would do good, but I just think this game would actually do better. I really do think this game would do much better because of its gameplay. That, and if you think about, how games are going today, which they've always been like that. I love this power up. I love it to death. And we just flick him off the freaking stuff. It's just fun as hell. It's like, nope, don't want to deal with you. It's like, you know what? I really don't want to deal with your bullshit. Out you go. Yeah, I heard you stomp. Guy coming from behind. Didn't even have a chance. I really think this game, like, if Activision, like, if they do a Legends thing, and, like, you know, it does really good, and if they were to, like, if they were to do, like, try to make, like, a new game, I really think a multiplayer game, like a big open world map, multiplayer, would be freaking dope as hell. I think it really would be. You know, especially with tap power up, sneak up behind somebody and be like, eh. Be like the Call of Duty's version of knifing. I mean, you know, screw quickscoping. I'm gonna electrify this motherfucker. But anyway. I'm just, you know, a lot of this evidence points to something's coming. Shit, I ran right into that one. I can't stand there and guarantee what it is. I can only stand there and see the evidence I'm seeing and how I'm seeing it. And my personal, not even preference, I'm just, you know, because they're saying the same thing. Because they're seeing that, you know, because they see their PlayStation getting remastered, and I'm seeing Legends getting remastered. So basically, everyone right now is seeing what they want. Activision's the only one that actually knows what's going down, how it's going, you know, what's going down, what's going south. I think this is the first time I actually upgraded something that didn't have, was a fire. There it goes. You good? Plus, this music in this game is good. You guys did fill it up. Hey, camera. Do they work really good? Let's first. There we go. I like this look. You know, I just think it would do better because it's kind of like what the market's on now. You know, deep story, you know, deep in-depth gameplay. I just think it would. I really do. I mean, graphically, I mean, of course, it'll definitely greatly be enhanced by the 1080p. But I just really don't, you know, see much use of, you know. Remember back when I mentioned, I'm kind of going all over the place here. That's because there's a lot of info that's happened pretty freaking quick. I said, like, wrote down this on a paper and, like, get it out that way. But if you look at it, there's a lot of info going on, and a lot of hearsay, this is, you know, this could mean this. But if you look at how games today are made, everyone likes, I mean, yeah, the platforms and the survival and the everyone loves a good open world. Where this game definitely is an open world. It isn't open world where you can run around. It's level based, but the levels give you an awful lot of room. So, I mean, they give you an awful lot of stuff that you're able to do. So, I mean, plus, who doesn't want to see Cinder and all of her castle freaking lit up in 1080p? That'd be freaking awesome. I'm just saying that now. That castle fight, or like, you know, her castle and everything would be dope freaking looking. 1080p, that castle. Plus, who knows, this may kick off another project. Spyro project. We don't know. This may not even be a remaster, though, because Activision has said they're planning on opening up a couple more remasters from their old IPs. For all we know, this Spyro project may be something completely new. We're not guaranteed. Activision said yes, they're doing old IP. But just because Crash got one does not mean our Purple Dragon here is going to get one. This may be something entirely new. Because Activision has come out and said that, I think it was quarter 3, Skylanders is getting a mobile RPG. Yeah, it was RPG. Which that may be all Skylanders is restricted to the TV series and, you know, the mobile games. That might be it. That might be all they get. But my personal opinion is this one would do better. It's also kind of a cheesy thing to do if you just do that. But, I mean, it would do better. Plus, if you think about it, games are a great way of, like, of media and everything to where, you know, they can teach good lessons. Like, it's kind of like movies and shows, you know how they got, like, deep lessons in them, like life lessons, make you feel, oh, damn, that's pretty dope. The original PlayStation Spyro was that kind of smart-ass, you know, punk character that was the 90s. The 90s was heavily punk. That's when punk music really became big. You know, so he had that kind of smart-ass, you know, punk solo run kind of thing. This one is the more kinder, more humble, which I think does better for teaching, and it's just more fun. I prefer, personally, nice, humble characters than assholes. But, I mean, everyone does love the asshole character. I'm not gonna lie there and say, oh no, I can't say I don't love that. Because, you know, everybody does. So I'm just saying, if I had a choice preference for Spyro, I'd rather have the humble than the punk ass. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate from that. But, oh well, there's your, I can't even call it. Now, I originally started doing this just for fun. That was an accident. I didn't really mean to throw them off the cliff. I forgot I was still on electric. This is my favorite portion. I'm really curious to know. Oh, that's right. That's that island with all the coins. This is my favorite portion. All these little cannons and everything on this little level. This is my favorite portion. Little giant totems and stuff. This whole, I mean, just all of this in like 1080. Oh my god, it'd be so freaking
We're going to
awesome.
have to use the water wheels to move ahead.
I mean, just those little cannons and everything. Like, I mean,
Oh, it's never easy.
like if they were to redo this and like make another game, another Legend game, like they could bring it back like this. I mean, let's keep like the whole world as it looked like it did in Dawn of the Dragon, but bring back some of the, you know, these ape elements and some of their tech and stuff. Like, I'd say it'd be kind of dope what Activision did. Would it be kind of cool if they did? Would be if Activision were to make, like, bring some of the PlayStation, like the OG elements into the Legend series. Like, why not? Because, you know, there'd be nothing wrong with, you know, them doing that. Yeah, fell right in front of him. What the hell's that? There it goes. Top down. I love that. If they were to do that, I think it would do great. Like, if they were to make, like, a big open world game and bring some of the elements, like the characters, like Ripto, you know, Ember, Flame, you know, I can't ever remember which one it is. I either read one on either one actually exists and one I read in a fanfiction. I can't fucking remember. Either it's Blaze or Flame, one of those two fuckers. Either way, if they were to like bring those elements in, I think it would do great. But I mean, I just don't see, because if you look back, when Crash came out, Activision didn't give a shit. Because, you know, they didn't make any, why did I say Activision? Xbox really didn't give a shit. Because, you know, they weren't going to make the money because it wasn't going to be on their console, so it didn't really affect them. It was a PlayStation. I wish there was like a sneak button, like sneak boost, or like this sneak shit. I don't think you can, no. Use the button as a blocker. Gun was pretty dope. There we go. funky looking face. But I mean, you know, whatever they decide to do. You know, Activision ultimately knows what's going on, what the project is, and what the intent is. That's all we know. But you're seeing how Activision actually made, or at least owned the company and made these 3 games, and actually made the Dawn of the Dragon, like they had a personal hand in that. Like you read the back of that game, thing, Activision's a part of it. And, you know, I would just say that that's what they'd be more inclined to do. Like, I mean, granted they didn't have, well, no, they had Naughty Dog's permission. They would have to have their permission. That's also another thing I forgot for reasons. Copyright. Okay. Now, everyone knows how copyright works. Hopefully you can't, you know, take something and use something that's not yours. Right? Activision would have to get Insomniac Games, which is the original company that developed Spyro in the first place, to redo those 3 games on the PlayStation era. It wouldn't be PlayStation. Yes, they were. That was the console you could play it on. They were still not the publisher. They were not the developer. You would need. They would need. I'm trying to play like Dead by Daylight. Play like Dead by Daylight for like 4 hours today. Dear God. I think it was a pretty even split of surviving and dying. Anyway. Alright. But anyway. They would have to get permission to redo those games like they got from Naughty Dog. So like redo Crash, they would have to have permission from Naughty Dog to do this development. Because if you say it's like this. Say I were to make a picture and sell it. Well, not when you say I make like not a picture but like a character. Say if I like make a character, make a few drawings of it and post it to myself and decide, you know what, I don't like this character, I'm gonna sell it. Turn around and sell it to someone. Okay? Yes, you own the character, but the artwork I still did with it, I still own. You didn't buy my artwork unless I actually sold you that portion. Which I don't know if when IPs get sold, like game IPs get sold, that the games previously made go with it. That's something I don't know. I'm missing one. I got the one in that corner. I'm missing one. This far side. It's right there on our path. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the best I can sit there and say that I know. There you go. Can't surprise me. But, you know, if they didn't have permission of it, and since they already own the Spyro, the Legend series themselves, they wouldn't have to get permission. I see them just go ahead and doing the Legend. At least a lot of those Halo games have water. It's like, come on, life with the sword. It's not. There we go. We got a fireworks. Drop a fireball. That bitch, like it's. But anyway, I say anyway. You guys, I'm not even wasting future. What button was it? What button? There it is. It's the upper 2 buttons. I can't remember how to do this. Come on, first, go back up! Holy crap! That's why it's not really powerful. That's kind of cool. You got this little spark pose as well. When you still got that little electric pulse until you have to do that. I think I blocked my electric shot. think you... I don't know. We're just going to have to find out and see what happens. Anyway, they teased that this month. As much stuff happening, I think it's going to be pretty damn soon. I believe it's going to be pretty damn soon. And we're going to find out what happens. Either way, something's going down. Somebody's going to get something. Somebody's going to wind up in a nice, shiny HD Spyro game. Whether or not it's a remaster or something new or what. Don't know, can't tell you.
Kane!
Oh shit, Kane, no! What are we gonna do? False play with that.
Yeah, I know the guy's an ingrate, but you gotta do something, and fast.
That's a big word. Mercury didn't freeze him in the ice. Think about it. Could have froze his ass.
Getting weirder and weirder by the second.
I don't know. This is a 40-minute rant video. What couldn't tell you. Want some? Fuck you. I don't think I can knock any of them. Get out of here. Go. Come on. Get in. Now, I'm not good at Pokemon, but isn't ground, like, really good with electricity? And since these motherfuckers are, like, made of, like, rock and dirt and shit, shouldn't they be, like, really immune to this shit? Did I kill that third one? They're always before him, and he, like, respawns to, like, kick him over the damn cat. Get out of here. Get out of here. That works. Always one way to fucking do it. I don't know, guys. I want to thank you for watching if you do watch this. I've been trying, the last time I tried to post a Spyro, it was the challenge series that was equipped with the Eternal Nights. For whatever reason that night my internet had crashed, so it didn't actually make it to YouTube. So this is going to be posting tonight, the same night I'm making it, March 3rd, which by the time my internet actually posts it, it'll be about 4 in the morning? Save location. Well, I'd say that's a pretty decent ass spot to stop. Well, guys, it's been fun. Those are my thoughts. I love every single one of you. All 12 of my awesome subscribers. I love y'all. I'm a catch.